This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and I am so excited to be able to interview Gethiga. Hi, G, how are you?
How you doing? How's everybody doing? Is this Newsload?
This is Newsload.
I've been wanting to come on here for a while. I love the name. How did you come up with the name?
I didn't. It's sort of an ejaculation joke.
Yeah, I guess that.
Yeah,
but I love the graphics, and I love your reporters and stuff. I've been watching. Jester is a good friend of mine.
Oh yeah, Jester is so sweet, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of my production partners, and I love his segments and yours as well.
Thank you. You can continue to flatter me. I will always accept and appreciate.
Oh, no worries. Yes, so we finally met after maybe over a year and a half of communications online. You finally got to see me perform at Yuck Yucks.
And you were amazing. You're so vibrant and energetic and charming, and you like the single mothers, eh?
Yeah. Well, I started out doing some single mother jokes, and I didn't want to be pigeonholed into it. And then eventually I was like, I don't know, I'm going to lean into it. Who cares? People love the stuff. And it's funny. It's come full circle. I do some work for single mothers in womanhood, or mothers and single mothers in it's a charity in London that I do some work with.
That's amazing.
So it's come full circle where I'm actually helping single mothers. I've done some of their shows and fundraisers. So is that the gist of it? Is that what you got from it?
Yes, absolutely. Totally.
Yeah. But I'm also proud of being from London. I tried to bring that into my set. I grew up in London. I went to elementary, high school, and college in London. And I'm very proud of being from London. So I try to talk about London even when I'm on the road and stuff. And try to change the perception, because it's not always either people don't know much about it or it's kind of some negative stuff. So I'm always trying to change that perception.
For sure. And it's very wonderful to be able to actually see people get out.
Yeah. I like how you're phrasing it like a jail or some sort of.
Yeah, like the freedom, because let's be honest, there are generations of families in this community. And that's lovely, just like who've gone to Western and, grown up here and everything. But to be able to understand that, this bubble is bigger. Yeah,
for sure. But also, I will say that it's like that in many towns where generations have grown up there, and it always takes that one person to venture out a little bit. And it took me a while, like deep into my 30s, to venture out. And I will tell people it can happen late, and don't think that age is a thing. You can always leave, and London will always be there for you to come back. Like I'm coming back this weekend, and I'm back pretty much twice a month doing my monthly shows at Winks. And so London will always be there for you, but you can venture out and see. It's a big world out there, right?
For sure. Where were you born?
I was born in Kenya, actually, in East Africa. Came over when I was about 4 years old. And so, I first came to Kitchener for about a year, and then London. My mom got into Fanshawe College into nursing, and that's what brought me to London.
Wow, Kenya. Yeah. Have you been back?
Yeah, we try to go back every 5 or 6 years, and I haven't been back since 2020, but I love it. It's beautiful. And actually, the comedy scene is starting to thrive there too, so.
Really?
They've got 4 comedy clubs in the major city there. So a dream of mine is doing comedy back home.
Oh, that's amazing. And what are the extreme differences you notice from like London to Kenya?
A lot of white people, a lot more white people in London. It's just a different culture, right? Obviously, in areas in Africa, it can be poorer, but there's people doing extremely well as well. Like, so they don't show you that part. There's people doing really well, and it's a thriving big city, Nairobi. It's like 4 million people. It's like a Toronto essentially. And so and it's a beautiful country, animals, beaches, everything.
And it's probably, the weather is probably fabulous.
Oh yeah. It's Mexico kind of equator weather, so it's just beautiful all year round. And so Kenya's kind of like the Mexico for like Italians and Europeans and stuff. They go down there for their vacations.
Okay,
So it's
so
just
tourism is quite good, and you have nice
yeah,
beaches, and you're not going to
yeah.
get killed by a lion.
No, 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 no. The lions are on the safari, so you're not gonna get killed by a lion. There are monkeys though. Like if you live like so, monkeys are essentially like squirrels out there. They're everywhere. They come into your backyard and like it's crazy. They steal your food if you're not careful.
That's
Yeah,
so exciting.
it is, but like to them, it's not exciting. They've been seeing monkeys their whole life. So they're just like a nuisance. They're like it's essentially like seeing a raccoon.
Which, are little bandits and, adorable as well.
Yeah, but not nobody loves raccoons really. Like they're just there, but
So you're touring a lot, eh?
yeah, man. I've been blessed to like start doing really well. I did a solo tour called the Pumpkin Spice Latte Tour, where I talked about single mothers and my love of Canadian women, and we did really well. I did 6 cities, and 4 of them sold out. Ottawa sold out, Toronto sold out, London sold out, and then I try to hit the small towns. I hit Port Stanley, was really fun, and I try to hit smaller towns if I can.
Amazing, amazing. And what is it about Canadian women that you love so much?
It's kind of like just that's all I grew up with. So I just sort of embrace it. And so I love everyone, but I try to like just sell the world on how cool Canada is, man, how fun it is and how accepting it is of everyone. And it's been a pleasure growing up here. And I think we take it for granted because that's all we know. But I think when you travel the world, you realize how like we take safety for granted. We take healthcare. We take all the fun and all the drinking we do here. We take it for granted. So I try to like just display that in my comedy.
That's great. That's great. What have you had any crazy Canadian girls doing anything nuts, and how have you dealt with that?
Oh, I love it. So for me as a comedian now, I want crazy stories almost because it just goes into the stand up, right? So I've had girls come up to me after shows like, "Oh, you didn't roast us enough. You didn't make fun of us enough." And I'm like, "Wow, I didn't really want you leaving the show feeling terrible." But so then that's why the tour came up, the pumpkin spice latte, because a lot of Canadian girls were like, "Oh, I like how you kind of make fun of us, but you don't punch down. You're not like trying to hurt our feelings. You're kind of just making fun of like white girl culture and stuff like that." So, and it's something I know a lot about. I've dated a few white girls, and something. And so I don't try to punch down, but I try to make light of it.
It must be fun, to notice our hair care and, our skin care and all the different things we do as a culture, because you're obviously not needing to worry too much about your hair.
Yeah, I'm black. What? Oh yeah. I don't have any hair. Yeah, and it's just like how as comedians we're observers, right? So just how girls interact with each other, and it's not even just about Canadian girls. I find it very interesting just studying human nature in general. So not just girls, but just anybody in general. And that specifically, I know about Canadians because I grew up in Canada, so that's what I speak about.
On the road, do you have any favorite road tour snacks?
Yeah, I've kind of fallen in love with. I have one of my best friends lives in Ottawa, and I get up there quite a bit. And I've kind of gotten into the Ottawa community, and there's some characters up there. I had a comedian steal my food, like a well-known. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a well-known guy on TV and stuff, and he stole my pizza. And just fun stories like that. I've been on tour with Ben Bankus, which is crazy. His fans are wild, and so I've done all kinds of tours. So while I've done like the super right, the convoy type people, anti-vax crowds, which I enjoy doing. I've done the super liberal crowds in Toronto, and I pride myself on being a versatile comedian where I don't care about the crowd. I'm gonna find a point to relate with you.
Well, you do have sort of that personality where, you're very lovable, and everybody is comfortable and wanting to listen to what you have to say and be involved because of your charm. You are observant of our cheesy community and qualities, but at the same time, enjoying it. So
yeah, and absolutely, I'm in it. I'm one of the cheesy Canadian guys. So like, I'm not looking at it as if like, look at you guys. I'm like, hey, I'm here with you. I'm from London. I'm from East London. I know about Argyle Mall. I know about these places, and it's really fun coming back home now. It's really fun, like, because I have the inside edge, knowing the neighborhoods, knowing the people of London, and I'm kind of seeing it from a different perspective now that I kind of am on the road a lot. We had to kick somebody out. You were at the show, right? Were you there? Did we have to kick somebody out at your show? No, in London Yucks, we've been kicking a few people out. So I feel like London people haven't quite settled into like knowing how to behave at comedy shows, and we're going to get better at that, I guess. But we've kicked a few people out of Yucks lately.
It's new to them, So knowing the heckling and behaving ourselves. I had to sit through a bachelorette party, and the girls were wasted. They were horrifically wasted and rude too, like telling the comics they weren't funny.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, you're obviously not here to enjoy the show. So how about you go to the strip club or wherever you think is where you
absolutely belong. It's just a little bit embarrassing when you tell comedians, hey, London's awesome, and then they come in and they see that one group, and it kind of ruins it for everyone.
I know.
But that's not everybody, right?
No.
Usually the crowds in London I found are really good. And I will say the state of comedy is kind of weird right now because what's happening is comedians are releasing crowd work clips because they don't want to release their jokes or whatever. So then people think they come to shows to yell out and interact, which is fine. Interact, but do it in a positive way and don't make the show about you. It's about us. We're on stage, right?
It's when the people rush the stage or get offended. It's when it starts getting dangerous for the comics, and not so much fun for anybody, really.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it back in the day, like with the Patrick Swayze Roadhouse movie, they had chicken wire, for Pete's sakes. Like, people were throwing bottles back in the day. I want to believe that we've gotten a little bit more civilized.
Yeah, and I think it takes time. Like when you go to shows in Toronto, you've seen that people have been coming out for shows for years, and like they know how to behave, but they're also a little more reserved at times. So I'm a guy who does crowd work, so I don't mind a rowdy crowd. I don't mind you yelling stuff out a little bit. But just don't do it in a respectful manner, Don't make the show about yourself. It's not about you. And funny enough, it's actually more women. It's more drunk women interrupting shows than men. That's kind of surprising. I don't know if they don't know, they want to make it about themselves, or they don't know how to behave, but it's funny enough. And it's older women too. Like, it's funny.
Well, it's getting interesting because once they're divorced, and I like to call them unsupervised, they're starting to not have as much need to behave themselves. And
no responsibilities. The kids are out of the house. It's time to wine and dine and go out with the girls, but I don't know. Hey, I love single mothers, so I don't mind a little bit of that, but yeah, there is a line, right?
Have you worked with anyone that's left you starstruck? Any celebrities?
I got a big ego, so like for me, I'm trying to be a star, so I don't get too starstruck, but I've worked with people that are amazing. Like I opened for Tom Green in London, got to spend a lot of time with him. He's a cool, weird guy, of course. I got to spend like an hour in the green room, just me and him, and it was just interesting because he's one of my childhood heroes growing up. So he used to rap. I rapped a little bit growing up, and the rapping has helped me do my crowd work, so the freestyling and stuff like that. So I kind of asked him about that, and it's been really cool. And hopefully I meet bigger stars and open for bigger stars, and hopefully I become a a national headliner, which is it's kind of going that way. I headlined Yuck Yucks on 2 weeks ago. My first time headlining like a major club, and it went amazing. It went great.
Good for you. Well, I'm so happy for you, and I want nothing but, success and amazing things to happen. You're so charming and lovely.
Oh, thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. You're amazing too, and it was finally a pleasure to meet you and see me do my thing. And I hope that I convey that I love this thing, and I want people to be happy. That's essentially such a blessing that I get to make people laugh for a living, and I don't want to take it for granted. I'm working my butt off, and I want to represent my family, and I want to represent London well, and that's all I'm in it for. And I appreciate people like you who've been in the scene for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20 years. You do the speed dating. I've looked into you, Carrie. You're doing a lot of stuff and a lot of good stuff, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I do want to shout out a couple guys that are on the come up that are really like people got to look out for. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a kid, Felipe Esmeral. He's out here in Toronto now, but originally from London. He's doing really well, and he's starting to be a star. And he opened for me on my tour in London. There's a kid, Michael Donald, who opened for me as well. And look out for producers like Jester Lind, who's really talented in what he does. And so I just want to shout those people out.
That's very sweet of you, and it's wonderful to support the community and be there for each other, because unfortunately in this comedy community there's quite a lot of ego, and it's good to support and encourage, because all ships rise.
100%. Yeah, if I do really well, I'm bringing some London guys with me. So. And I look at it vice versa. If somebody else does well, I'm sure I'm going to get a piece of that action. So that's how I look at it. I know not everybody looks at it that way, but it's been working well for me. So I will say to other comics, always encourage, always be happy for people, and wait. And everybody has a different path.
Wonderful. Well, G, you're absolutely adorable. If you can do one more thing for me, if you can say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload. Thank you for having me. I will take a load to the face anytime. I love Newsload. Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks, G. Have a
Carrie,
great day.
thanks for having me. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, London. Bye.
This is the Newsload.